me how a person who's not a scientist can go in the field and help scientists do conservation work.
Well, that's what Biosphere is all about, that we want to be inclusive, we want to enable people who don't have to be scientists, they don't need any special skills, there's no age limits. We split the expeditions up into 2-week slots that people can come in their ordinary holiday time.
So people come from all over the world to help?
Definitely.
And go all over the world?
Absolutely, and I think that adds an interesting dynamic to the expedition experience, because you have a group of people who are from different backgrounds, different cultures and age groups. The only thing they have to have in common is the ability to communicate, so our language is English in the field.
And your expeditions go to so many fascinating places. So let's talk about some of these places. I love cats. And you're studying leopards, both the snow leopards and the Arabian leopard.
Yeah, we're quite big on cats ourselves, so we have a number of cat projects, a snow leopard project in the Altai Republic, which is in Central Asia. We have the Arabian leopard project in Oman. We work on pumas and on jaguars in Brazil, and on cheetahs and leopards in Namibia. So take your pick.
And these animals, though, are different. So what are people looking at?
I think people's interest in going on expedition might be specific to one animal, and those are often keystone species that are a focus point of the research. But your experience will be looking at the entire ecosystem, the dynamics between other species and how they interact, their prey, their habitat. It's definitely wider than just that one species. And when people do join multiple expeditions, if they're interested in cats, they can see the different elements come into play in different parts of the world and different species, I think, too. And
it's one of our taglines is experience conservation in action, and that really sums it up, because it's not a safari. You know, if you're looking to look at lions in an air-conditioned bus, you know, on the African savannah, you don't come with Biosphere Expeditions. It's research. You know, it's to experience what is it like to be a scientist in the field. How do I help them? You know, can I help them with their work?
Are the scientists that you're working with always in the field, or do they go back to their universities and go into the field just periodically?
It differs. So if we take the cheetah project in Namibia again, the scientists actually live in the study site and they work there the whole year round, and we just join them for, say, 2 months, 3 months out of the year when our help is most needed. That's one extreme. The other extreme would be our Altai project, where there's nothing. They have no funding, they have no money. They can only go to this remote area with us. So we put in funding through the expedition contributions that people pay. We put in vehicles, we put in infrastructure, we put in the base, and then they come with us, and that actually enables them to do their research for those 2-3 months out of the year. Without us, there wouldn't be any research in that area.
Are you relating to the local people, to the communities? Are you helping them with the conservation work also?
Definitely. That's a big part of it, I think, to have local involvement. The scientists often are from those countries, and so it's supporting them locally. It's not bringing us from abroad and entering into a country without acknowledging the people who are working there and living there, and working with the communities surrounding it, using local guides and support from the communities as well, for hiring a cook, for example.
Absolutely.
Or drivers. Anything that can be hired locally is our preference.
How about the security of where you're going politically? I mean, you're going to countries all over the world. Does the person have to worry about that?
Well,
no.
We've never had an issue ever. We're responsible when we're there, and we follow the law and the protocols of being in a country. And
I mean, we look at these things, of course. Yeah, we have very, very detailed safety procedures. We have projects that are not happening because of safety issues. We have, for example, a project on chimpanzees in the Congo that we, you know, a scientist who would want to work with us, but you just can't take people there. We only take people into areas that are safe to go. Oman is just across the Strait of Hormuz to Iran, but it's perfectly safe, a safe place to go there.
Yeah, we tell people, you know, about customs and, you know, to be aware of what is appropriate, you know, so that you don't offend people. But there's never any situation to be concerned about.
It sounds so interesting. I would have a hard time deciding where to go. Now, I guess some people contact you, want to go to the tropical rainforest, so you talk about either the Amazon, the work in Peru, or Honduras, or they want to go to mountains, they think about going into Central Asia. There's really a variety, isn't there?
Sometimes people call with a specific interest in a specific expedition, but otherwise it can be based upon a location they want to go to. They want to see a part of the world that they haven't seen and learn about the ecology there. Also, the expeditions all take place at different times of year, so that can affect what expedition you can choose. It might be that when you have your holiday time is when we are off in Oman studying the leopards, and maybe it's when we're down in the tropics. It can really depend. So, you know, that adds to the adventure. You just maybe never know where you're going to end up going.
I know that there's so many interesting experiences that a person can have when they go on this kind of expedition. It's truly ecotourism, but as you say, not as a safari, not as a sightseer, but as a participant to help that conservation work and to experience the environment and the wildlife in a different way. What are some of the most memorable experiences that people have shared with you?
Well, we have many testimonials that people are always saying that it's a most amazing experience. They feel like they've made a difference with their time, and you're often saying that you can't even feel like you can repeat some of the things they say because you think we're making it up. They're very.
But catching a cheetah, you know, putting a radio collar on it, you know, touching a truly wild animal, that's sedated. Or I remember catching my first wolf and putting a radio collar on. Scientists all over the world with interesting projects, but it's quite an involved process to be a scientist and get on our list of programs. It takes 2 or 3 years. You know, they have to show us it's scientifically valuable. How will the volunteers be used in a good way? Their skill sets be utilized, etc. So it's not just writing in and saying, oh, can you send us a few volunteers?
So even though there are other organizations that go out and send volunteers to help scientists, Biosphere Expeditions is really special. You've selected very carefully the work to be sure that it's going to have a significant impact.
Definitely, and I think another quality issue is that our staff is involved in every project. We won't be sending the public off with the scientists and we don't hear anything back from them. We're involved. So
you've gone out to all of these, so I think it's wonderful that you've checked them out yourself. Thank you so very much for your good work, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for your time.